Hey there, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here with me today because I have some really important news to share with you about your Social Security benefits. If you're receiving Social Security or getting ready to claim your benefits, you need to hear this. The Bureau of Labor Statistics just got a new head, and this could change everything about your cost of living adjustments. Yes, you heard that right. This could impact the money in your pocket starting next year. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into what this means for you and your family. Trust me, you don't want to miss this update. Here's what's happening, and I'm going to break it down in simple terms that make sense. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, let's just call them the BLS, is the government agency that calculates inflation. And inflation is what determines your Social Security cost of living adjustment, or COLA for short. Think of the BLS as the scorekeeper for how much things cost in America. Well, the Biden administration just announced a new head of the BLS. This is huge, because this person will oversee how inflation is measured. And remember, inflation directly affects your Social Security checks. Let me paint you a picture of why this matters so much. Every year, the Social Security Administration looks at inflation data from the BLS. They use something called the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. I know, that's a mouthful. Let's just call it CPIW. The CPIW measures how much more expensive things got compared to last year. Food, housing, gas, medical care, all of it. If prices went up by 3%, your Social Security gets a 3% increase. If prices went up by 8%, you get an 8% increase. It's that simple. But here's where it gets interesting. The new BLS head might look at inflation differently than the previous leadership. They might focus on different data points or use new methods to calculate these numbers. Let me give you some real numbers to show you how important this is. In 2022, Social Security recipients got an 8.7% COLA increase. That was the biggest increase in 40 years. For someone getting $1.500 a month, that meant an extra $130 every single month. In 2023, the increase was 3.2%. Still good, but much smaller. For that same person getting $1.500, it was about $48 more per month. This year, 2024, the increase was 3.2% again. But here's what's really interesting. Early predictions for 2025 were showing a much smaller increase, maybe around 2.5%. Now, with this leadership change at the BLS, those predictions might shift. The new head could bring fresh perspectives on how to measure what's really happening with prices in America. Let me tell you why you should care about this, even if government appointments usually make your eyes glaze over. Your Social Security COLA isn't just a number on paper. It's real money that affects your real life. It's the difference between choosing between groceries and medicine, or being able to do both comfortably. The BLS doesn't just count prices randomly. They look at what real people actually buy. They track the cost of bread, milk, rent, doctor visits, and even movie tickets. Every month, they're collecting thousands of price points from stores and service providers across the country. But here's something most people don't know. There's been ongoing debate about whether the current method truly captures what seniors spend their money on. Some experts argue that older Americans spend more on healthcare and housing than the general population. Others say the current system works just fine. The new BLS head will have influence over these decisions. They'll help decide whether any changes need to be made to better reflect the real costs that Social Security recipients face. Think about it this way. If you spend 30% of your income on healthcare, but the inflation calculation only gives healthcare a 15% weight, then your real costs might not be fully captured in your COLA adjustment. Let me share some numbers that will help you understand just how much this matters. Right now, about 67 million Americans receive Social Security benefits. That's roughly 1 in 5 Americans. The average monthly benefit is around $1.800. So when we talk about a 1% difference in COLA, we're talking about $18 a month for the average recipient. That might not sound like much, but multiply that by 12 months, and it's $216 a year. Multiply that by 67 million people, and we're talking about billions of dollars in the economy. But here's what's really important for you personally. These COLA adjustments compound over time. A higher adjustment this year means a higher base for next year's adjustment. It's like compound interest, but for your Social Security benefits. Let me show you with an example. Say you're getting $2,000 a month right now. If your COLA is 3% this year and 3% next year, after 2 years you'll be getting about $2,121 a month. But if those COLAs were 4% each year, you'd be getting about $2,166 a month. That's $45 more every single month, just from that extra 1% each year. So what should you be watching for as we move through 2024 and into 2025? First, keep an eye on monthly inflation reports. These come out every month, usually around the middle of the month. The BLS releases the Consumer Price Index data, and news outlets always cover it. The numbers that matter most for Social Security are from July, August, and September. Those 3 months are what they use to calculate your next year's COLA. So this summer's inflation data will determine your 2025 Social Security increase. Second, watch for any policy announcements from the new BLS leadership. They might signal changes in how they collect or calculate inflation data. These changes could affect future COLA calculations. Third, pay attention to the official COLA announcement. This usually comes in October, right after the September inflation data is released. The Social Security Administration makes a big announcement, and it gets covered everywhere. While we're talking about all this, let me give you some practical advice for managing your Social Security benefits and planning ahead. First, don't count on COLA adjustments to solve all your financial challenges. They're designed to help you maintain your purchasing power, not necessarily improve your standard of living. Think of COLA as protection against inflation, not a raise. Second, if you haven't claimed Social Security yet, remember that delaying can be powerful. For every year you delay past your full retirement age until age 70, your benefit grows by about 8%. That's guaranteed growth that also applies to all future COLA adjustments. Third, keep track of your actual expenses. The government uses average spending patterns, but your personal inflation might be different. If you're spending more on categories that are inflating faster, you might need to adjust your budget accordingly. Fourth, consider how COLA adjustments interact with your other income sources. If you have a pension, 401k withdrawals, or part-time work income, factor those into your overall financial picture. Here's what I'm watching for in the coming months, and you should too. The new BLS head will likely hold their first major press conference soon. Listen for any hints about their priorities or philosophy around inflation measurement. Do they think the current system works well? Or do they see room for improvement? Also watch for any research or studies the BLS might commission. Sometimes new leadership brings new research initiatives that could eventually influence how inflation is calculated. Keep an eye on congressional hearings too. Senators and representatives often ask tough questions about Social Security and inflation during BLS testimony. These hearings can give us insights into potential future changes. Let me bring this all together for you with what really matters. This leadership change at the Bureau of Labor Statistics could influence how your Social Security cost of living adjustments are calculated. While we don't know exactly what changes might come, it's something worth paying attention to. Your COLA adjustments are based on real inflation data, and that data affects real money in your pocket. Even small changes in how inflation is measured could add up to meaningful differences in your benefits over time. The good news is that Social Security's COLA system has been working for decades to help protect retirees from inflation. While methods might evolve, the basic commitment to adjusting benefits for rising costs remains strong. Stay informed, but don't lose sleep over it. The Social Security system is designed to provide stability, and that's not changing. Now I want to hear from you. Have you noticed that your personal expenses are rising faster or slower than your Social Security COLA adjustments? Are there particular categories, like healthcare, housing, or food, where you're feeling the pinch more than others? Drop a comment below and let me know. I read every single comment, and your experiences help me understand what topics to cover next. Plus, we all learn from each other's situations and insights. Speaking of what's next, I've got some great content planned for you. Next week, I'm going to break down the latest Medicare premium announcements and how they interact with your Social Security benefits. The week after that, we'll talk about tax strategies for Social Security recipients. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of these important updates, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell turned on. I know everyone says that, but I really do cover news and changes that can affect your financial security, sometimes within hours of major announcements. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I know there's a lot of information out there about Social Security and retirement, and it can be overwhelming sometimes. My goal is always to break things down in a way that makes sense and helps you make better decisions for your situation. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps other people find this information when they need it. And if you know someone who's receiving Social Security or planning to claim benefits soon, please share this video with them. Information like this is so much more valuable when it's shared. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm here every week with updates, tips, and explanations about Social Security, Medicare, and retirement planning. Think of me as your friendly neighborhood retirement advisor, except I'm right here on YouTube whenever you need me. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. I'll see you in the next video.